Hello YouTube. If you remember in my previous video, I had an issue with the oil pressure light coming on, and I replaced the oil pressure sender and the light went out. Well, as you can see, it's back on. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. To make a long story short, went on a Christmas trip. On the way back home last night, this light came back on. I was only 10 miles from the house, so I made it back home. And I just checked the oil. It was fine. There's plenty of oil in there. I took the sender out and I put an oil pressure gauge on there. There's plenty of oil pressure. So I plugged everything back, put everything back together, plugged the harness back in, and as you can see, this oil pressure light's back on, which means it's not the motor. So I'm thinking it's a short somewhere in that harness. But there's only one way to find out. On this particular model, I think this is a 2007. I think this will work on a 2007 all the way to the first ones. If you unplug that sensor harness, this light should cut off. If not, there's a short somewhere in this line that's closing this circuit, which is making this light come on. So I'm just going to cut this car off real quick, and I'm going to go under the hood. I'm going to unplug the harness to the sensor, and we're going to restart this car and see if this light comes back on. If it does, I have a wiring issue, and I'm going to have to take this to a shop and have them figure out what's going on, because I have no clue on how to work on wiring. Okay, we're under the hood. Okay, if you looked at my other videos, you'll notice that the harness and the sensor is right under here. I'm pointing at it right there. That's the sensor. You might see a little bit of that white thread. There it is, the silver and the white thread right here from the Teflon tape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it. Reach in here. There you go. So there, the harness is off. You can probably see it dangling right there. See the little white wire. You can probably see it right there. It's a little, you see the little white line right there? That's the harness. It's a white and a black line, wire with a harness hooked to it. Okay, I disconnected it. Now let's see if this light cuts off. Okay, we are back. Okay, we are back in the car. I unplugged the harness from the oil pressure sender, and if there's a short, this light will come back on. If it cuts off, then there's an issue with the pressure or the sender. I doubt it's the pressure on the engine, because I just had it checked. I put a gauge to it. I had plenty of oil pressure. So it got to be I'm probably got to bought a bad sender, or if this light cuts on, I have a short, and I didn't have to take it. I had to take it to the shop and let them figure out how to fix it. Okay, here we go. Yep, I have an issue with the wiring. It could be anything. Something is grounding it out. It could be just old. It could be just, or it could be an animal that got up under the car when it was cold. And my car is parked outside, not in the garage. Animal got up under there when it got cold. We just had the snow about a week ago. We just had a snow here. So we might have had an animal or two get up under this car to stay warm, and probably was chewing on some wiring or whatever that caused a short. It's not plugged in, but yet the light still comes back on. That means there's a closed circuit somewhere, probably a wiring issue, probably had some stuff that got to get fixed, but it's not the motor. So basically, I'm good to go. I'd rather spend a few bucks to get the wiring fixed than a couple $1,000 to get the motor replaced before I'm ready to get the motor replaced. The next video you will see is me working on putting a new exhaust on this thing. I'm also going to start a project on rebuilding a new motor for this car. They're going to make around 280. of 280 horsepower. This motor here is going to be taken out and put in a friend of mine's Ford Ranger. He's gonna, with that help, he's gonna help me put the other motor in too. So we're gonna do like a 2-for-1 deal there. But yeah, that's it. The next video you'll see is probably be next year. Exhaust, I'm going with a Kook, K-O-O-K. It's going to be a true dual exhaust system, 2.5 inch all the way to the back. I'm going to use their Kook Bullet Racing mufflers and an X-pipe. It should sound pretty good. It's going to be loud, but it's not going to be ricey loud, I hope. We'll find out sooner than later. So until I see you next time, this is the Texas Hitman. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you next year, unless something happens. Until then, later.